Hi friends, look at that. We are on Unit 3, Lesson 1, pages 117, 118, and you will need your ruler as well as your pencil. Of course, you are writing in pencil. I write in pen a lot of times just so that I can make sure that you can see it easily. But I do want you to be doing your math in pencil every day. Pen doesn't erase, and so it just gets a little bit trickier. So, what's interesting about Unit 3 is it is called Measurement and Geometry. And measurement and geometry is one of the places where the testing that we've done so far this year has shown that we are not as strong in this. And so I will be taking it nice and slow so that we know exactly what to do and how to perform all of these tasks. I provided you all with a ruler at the last distribution day, and it is a clear ruler. Your ruler looks different than mine, but it is a ruler nonetheless, and I don't expect ever to get that back. That is your ruler for keeps, forever and ever, amen, alleluia. And if you lose it, you are responsible for figuring out how to get another one. I ordered that in a set of 20 off of Amazon, but they also have them at the dollar store and at Target and anywhere that they sell office supplies and school supplies. But that's just, I only ordered a packet of 20, and we have 19 kids in our class, and so I've given them all away except for one, and I'm saving that one for when we have another student coming in the class. So, but you will need your ruler for almost all of these lessons. And just as a reminder, this is not a toy when we are in class. This is a tool that we're using, and so this is not what we should be doing during this time. Don't be bending your ruler, it will break. Don't be putting it on your eyes, don't be putting it on your head. You can do all that stuff when we're not doing math, but during math time it is a tool, and it just sits next to you until it needs to be used, and then when it's time to use your ruler, then you can pick it up and use it, okay? So, and I'm serious, I don't want to see you playing with it during this time. We need to be focused and thinking about the math and not about messing around with our ruler. So the first thing that we're going to do with our rulers is just kind of talk about the way that they're made. And so when you look at them, you notice that there are two different measurements on the ruler. And that's because the United States is a unique country, and that we have a different method of measuring than most of the other countries in the world. I think there's one or two other countries that also use the inches and feet method. And so on this side, there are inches, and the length of a ruler is exactly 1 foot. So that's just important for you to know that a lot of times when you see measurements in the United States, they'll be measured with those big ones where there's only 12 of them. And you'll notice that they are much larger than the other side's measurements. Do you see this line here? The lines here that come down? Each one of those longer lines right there, that means that that is the end of that inch. The little lines in between show different measurements within that. So this right here, the second largest line, means half an inch. And then the other ones that are in between that are quarter inches. So this is the beginning of the inch. There's a quarter inch, half inch, 3/4 of an inch, and a full inch. And you don't have to know all of that necessarily. Right now, we are mostly focused on that longest one, and then sometimes we'll be talking about the half. But more than any of that, we will almost entirely be looking at the centimeter side. Now, this is a more scientifically based measurement. The foot comes from literally the king's foot. So the king was, his foot was this big, and so that's how everybody measured things. And so it's kind of a non-standard unit of measurement that has just persevered with us for some reason. And when they would get a new king, they would get a new foot. And so then some scientists and mathematicians eventually came along, excuse me, and they said, why are we basing this off some dude's foot? Why don't we actually make this mean something? So you'll notice that in each of these centimeters here, there are a bunch of little dashes. And that's because there are 10 millimeters in each centimeter. And then this is the halfway point, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did you see that? Isn't that pretty amazing? And so when we have 100 of these centimeters together, they add up to make a larger measurement. And so it's not just like there are 12 inches in a foot. That's just kind of a strange way that we have stuck with doing things. But so we're going to mostly work on the centimeters. And as you grow older, hopefully centimeters will become the more standard unit of measurement, and it'll take over. But in the science and math worlds, they mostly use centimeters. Excuse me. Getting a little frog in my throat for some reason this morning. All right, so right here it says a centimeter is a unit of measure for length. The short way to write centimeters is cm. So you don't have to write this big long word right there. You are going to write the word cm. So we have 1 cm right there, and that means, what does it mean? Say it out loud to me. Thank you. That means centimeter. How do you write cm? Say it out loud to me. That's right. We just write a C and an M. You can make a 6 centimeter line segment by pushing together 6 1 centimeter line lengths. So right now, just real quick, get your ruler out and measure that first centimeter right there, and make sure that it's actually 1 centimeter long. I'll pause while you do that. So hopefully you saw that, and they drew a bunch of little 6 different centimeter line lengths, and then they pushed them together to make 1 6 centimeter line length. And then they show us how, just like on the ruler we have those long marks right where each centimeter goes, they show us how we can do that on our centimeter line there. And so we have a line segment right here, and they put 1 centimeter little dashes across it. Now, when they drew that, so don't do what I'm doing right now, I'm just going to do a little bit of modeling. They didn't just go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have guessed where I think it goes. But look what happens when I put that on there. My lines are not matching up with my centimeters. So when we are drawing line segments, we actually want to draw them exactly right where that centimeter goes. Do you see how much neater that is? The other thing is, we're not going to hold this up like this and then just draw above it like that. Do you see that wobbly line that I have right there? But if I put my pencil right against the ruler, because it's okay to do that, and I trace it, look at that different line. Do you see that nice, crisp, straight line instead of my wobbly line? So it becomes obvious when you take shortcuts and just kind of do some drawing. I'm telling you that because when we're doing measurement, precision matters. Precision means being exact, doing it exactly, perfectly, correctly. In math, there isn't a lot of room for individual interpretations, meaning like, I like to do it like this, or I think this is the right way to do it. Not so much in math and science. In math and science, you can do experiments, but when it comes down to it, you need to be as exact as possible. So to find the measurement of a line segment, count the 1 centimeter line or centimeter lengths. Before we get going on the measuring, I wanted to talk about this word, line segment. So a line segment means that we have part of a line. And that's why we have these little kind of stop signs on the end of it. Because do you want to know something interesting? If you say line, you mean a line that goes on and on and on forever
in both directions and doesn't ever stop. So the definition of a line means that it just goes and goes and goes and goes and doesn't ever stop. Now, because I stopped here and it's not going in that direction, this right here is a line segment. So if a line stops, then it's a line segment. So we will often say draw a line when we really mean a line segment, okay? And I just wanted to make that clear because you might be saying, why is she saying line segment? That's a geometry vocabulary word, is line segment. Okay, so these are all line segments. They're not lines, they're line segments, but we're gonna go ahead and call them lines because we aren't robots and we don't have to always say exactly what we're saying. We know what is intended. It says, use a centimeter ruler to mark the 1 centimeter lengths. Count the 1 centimeter lengths. So we are gonna do this together. Pick up your pencil, pick up your ruler, and lay your ruler down right on that line. You'll notice that this part right here, there's a little bit of extra space right there. So that's not the start of the line. The start of the line is right where that 1 centimeter line length is. Whoops, I was doing the wrong one. So right there. Now, let's all together go right at that first one and mark each of those centimeter lengths. And the front and end one are supposed to be kind of like an eye. And then we're going to count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this line segment right here is 4 centimeters. Are there any questions? All right, let's move on to the next one. So we're going to very carefully, once again, lay our ruler on that little line, and we're going to do the same exact thing. This time, when you're finished, I want you to hold it up to the screen and please show it to me. Remember to use your ruler and go right up from that longest line that has the number on it. And when you're done, go ahead and mark it. Notice this one is actually a 0 because it's before we even start measuring. It is 9 centimeters. Okay, let me take a look at what you've got. I'm going to hit pause because I want to make sure that you're being precise. All right, thank you. Nice work, my friends. Now, I think that you can do these ones on your own. Go ahead and lay your ruler down and use the centimeter marks to make those lines that go right up. Any questions before we start? Go. I was pretty impressed with how precise we're being. Because like I said before, this is an area where we are not as strong. We are actually really good at math facts and adding and subtracting and all of that. But there's a lot of vocabulary and special thinking that goes into measurement and geometry. And so this can catch some people. And then the other thing was, last year, we didn't have spring to get everything done like you usually would. And so I know that first grade didn't spend as much time doing this as they did last year. All right, so the difference between this page and the last page is this page, they actually drew the lines for us. Right here, we are going to draw the lines. But there's something new that we have to understand. So here's some more geometry vocabulary. and it is this. We have these new words, horizontal and vertical. And I always do this every year for second grade. So you know how the earth is round? And if you are on a boat, so I'll draw a little sailboat here. So if you're on a boat and you look out towards the edge, there's a part where the curve of the earth makes it so you can't see any more of the ocean, right? And that's called the horizon. And if you draw a picture of the horizon, you often draw a straight line and you draw like the sunset going down. Do you know what I'm talking about? You've seen those pictures before where somebody draws the water. There's often like a palm tree. Let's see. Do, 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 do. All right, there's our coconut tree. And then you're on the beach in Hawaii and you're watching the sunset and it looks like that. Have you seen pictures like that before? This right here is the horizon. Because the horizon goes back and forth like this. Horizon is part of the word horizontal. Do you see that word horizon? Horizontal. And so when I hear the word horizontal, I always think, which one is that? Up and down or side to side? And I always see horizon in there. And remember that horizontal is the side to side one. Vertical means up and down. I don't have a trick for remembering that one. I remember horizon going back and forth like that, and vertical, and then I think the other one is vertical. So we're going to be talking a little bit about vertical line segments and horizontal line segments right now. So this says you can use a ruler to draw a line segment 7 centimeters long. Begin drawing at the 0 edge of your ruler. Stop when you have counted 7 centimeter lengths. And so we're going to go ahead and add our line segments to this. And they have already put the numbers there. Now it says use your ruler to draw a horizontal line segment with the length given. Mark off and count 1 centimeter lengths to check the length. So is horizontal this way or is it this way? Hold up your ruler to your camera and show me what horizontal is. This way or this way? All right, so horizontal is indeed this way because remember horizon. So it says to draw an 8 centimeter length here. So 8 centimeters. Let's see, I think I'm actually gonna have to tear my page out here because my book is all bendy. So 8 centimeters. So we're gonna lay our ruler down. And do you remember how I told you to trace it? So start at that 0 and stop right at 8. Now we're going to draw our line segments on it. And after that, we're going to label our line segments. When you use the ruler, you have a nice flat line and you have even line segments. Please show it to me when you're finished. All right, thank you so much. Now you're going to do this one on your own. This is the page that you're going to take a picture of today. So 5 centimeters, go ahead and do that one. All right, and our last one for today says draw a vertical line segment 3 centimeters long. Mark off and count 1 centimeter line lengths to check the length. So are we going to go this way or this way? Which one is it? Go ahead and show me. So vertical this time, not horizontal, vertical. So it's going to look a little bit different. Yeah, so it's going to go up and down. And are we going to use the big side of the ruler or the little side of the ruler? Right, we're going to use those little measurements. So you may need to turn it around so that near the bottom you have that 1, 2, 3. So a 3 centimeter long line length, mark off and count 1 centimeter line lengths to check the length. All right, friends, this is the page that you are going to share with me today. Thank you so much, and we'll be continuing to work with measurement moving forward. Nice work.